mentioned Kaiser. Who's Kaiser?
Yo, what's up everybody, ladies and gentlemen, things and it's your boy JPEG here, and I wanted to talk about an RPG that left a good taste in my mouth, and that game is Indivisible. I heard about this game maybe 2014 or 2015, and I saw the demo of it, and the game finally came out, and I beat it, and I was actually very satisfied with it. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out and I was dissatisfied with that game. I actually uninstalled it, and this game gave me a good RPG fix, and I wanted to tell you guys why you should actually go out and go play it. This game is a very vibrant game, and you can see how vibrant it is and how dynamic it is by the locations you visit, the characters' animations, and especially the combat. So the story follows Ajna, and she's pretty much some villager girl that figures out about her past, and she goes out to go save the world. And that's pretty much a brief summary of the game. I'm gonna keep it spoiler free. And the story has a very Avatar-like feel. And Ajna, she seems like her personality is a mix of Toph and a mix of like Korra. So if you like Avatar, I honestly think you will really like this game. The game has a lot of characters, and it's fun to see how these characters interact with each other. Their dialogue is actually fun to listen to, and it's entertaining. This game can entertain people of all ages.
Ajna, you are the grossest, most disgusting person I've ever met in my life. Everything around you turns into a disaster.
I guess you're right.
So obviously I'm coming with you.
The combat in this game is definitely the game's funnest area, and it's definitely the game's strongest point. The combat in this game offers 3 different attacks. There's an up attack, which usually launches your enemies up. There's your down attack, which smacks them to the ground. And there's your side attacks, which are basic combo hits. And combined with all the different characters in this game, and how they all do something different, makes for a very versatile type of combat. Each character does something different, and they all specialize in different areas. So some characters are very combo heavy. You get your healers, and then you get your setup type of characters. And then combined with meter, they all have different specials too. And the more meter you get in the game, the more specials you get per character. And you can combo other characters' attacks into another character's attacks, leading to a lot of different combinations. As I was playing this game, even till I was at the end of the game, I was finding different ways to combo one character's attacks into another character's attack. So I think this game's combat definitely offers a lot of replayability, because there's a lot of characters, they all have different specials and different moves, and the way you can link them, it's all different. So I'm definitely going to go back and replay the game. This game gives me a lot of Marvel feels with the meter and all the characters' different attacks. So I'm definitely gonna go back and see what's up with the rest of the characters' moves. This game has a very agile blocking mechanic system. In this game, you can block per an individual character, or you can block for your whole party at the cost of meter. Once you get a perfectly timed block, the game actually rewards you with meter, and you know you have a perfectly timed block when you will hear certain audio cues from your characters. In the game, certain enemies actually grab you, and the game gives you a way to parry the grabs before they finish grabbing you. A mechanic I actually really like in this game is the ability to inflict damage on your enemy before you're even in a combat phase. When you do this, you're actually rewarded meter and damage to the enemy before the combat phase even initiates. The boss fights in this game actually do a good job of going back and forth between the combat phase and the pre-combat phase, or the open world. When this happens during boss fights, it gives you a chance to maneuver, to do platforming, or to even block in the middle of a boss fight, but you're just in the open world. But you do gotta be careful out there, because you still can get damaged, but I like this mechanic a lot because it creates a lot of variation in the way you play the game. So overall, with all those mechanics put together, it leads to the game having a very dynamic combat system. This game has a lot of platforming, and this game will definitely test your ability to platform. There's a lot of skills that you get throughout the game, and you eventually have to put those skills together when it comes to platforming. This game has no puzzles, but it gets to the point where you have to figure out what abilities you need to use to platform. This game has a lot of life in it, and you can see it in the characters' animations, you can see it in their facial expressions, in the dialogue, and when you visit the locations in this game actually have a lot of life to it. You can see that they look very visually appealing. The people in the background actually have some type of animation going on, and you can just see all the little details the developers put into this game to make it very visually appealing and very lifelike. Like all the energy they put into the game, it shows because the game gives that energy right back out. Since this is a nice little soft review, I do want to talk about the things I didn't like about this game. One, I will say this game does have a couple of flaws into it. Because combat happens in real time and you fight exactly where you run into an enemy, if there's like a hole or something, sometimes you might not be able to hit the enemy or the game might glitch out. Now the game does compensate for that by letting Ajna like yell and she can hit somebody from distance, but sometimes it's just awkward. It can lead to you being stuck, but honestly that only happened to me once, so it's not really a big issue. One thing about Indivisible is there is a lot of female characters in this game. Now I know it's made by the same people that did Skullgirls, which is understandable, but at the same time there's not a lot of male characters. Like I would say probably like 80% or at least 70% of the roster is all female characters. Not really a huge issue or nothing, but yo, where the guys at, bruh? The main issue I had with this game is I felt like the game needed to invest more time into the story and into the side stories of each character. It seems like when we got to know a certain conflict with a character that they just feel some type of way about the situation and say a line or two about the situation and that's it. When I think that they should feel some type of way, they should have to react a certain type of way and do something. It should have resulted in something happening with the gameplay, a cutscene, or really in-depth dialogue. I would have liked to see more type of enemies in this game. This game had a decent amount of enemies, but it seems like some of them were just wreath colors of certain enemies. And I also felt like when you did the side quests for each character, some of the bosses in that game were actually really easy, and I think they should have made those bosses way more difficult than what they were. Speaking about difficulty, I do think this game needs different difficulty options because the game honestly isn't that hard. There's like a couple of areas where you can get tripped up on, but I think the game should give you variations on the difficulty you want to play on. Despite these problems I talked about, the game still does the combat really well. It's still very visually appealing, and the characters and the dialogue in this game are just entertaining. So despite those issues, the game's still very good. Like, the very least I would give this game a 4 out of 5. Probably a 4.5. So I know I'm definitely going to give this game another playthrough. There's a lot of characters I didn't use a lot, and I didn't even unlock all the characters or do everybody's side quests. Just a little FYI, if you do have Xbox and you have Game Pass, this game is actually free on it. But if you're on PlayStation, go ahead and drop a couple of bucks for this game if you like RPGs. You definitely want to play this game. I waited for this game for a pretty long time, and honestly, I would say I was satisfied with it.
Well, this is it.
I appreciate everybody who watched the video, and until next time, y'all.